All right, everybody, welcome back. Good late morning. We have more cornerbacks to figure out here, try to judge, try to value. And we're going to start off with another guy who is currently projected in the late-ish third round. So we are not out of the top 100 yet, and we won't be until after this video. Khyree Jackson is the guy, Oregon Duck. Little bit familiar with him because I'm a Pac-12 watcher. And Khyree Jackson transferred in from Alabama last year and had a good year for the Ducks. 25 when the season starts, so he is one of the older rookies, which that's a little bit bumpy, but he's big. 6'4", 194 pounds, could add a little more weight if he needs to. 32 and a 3/4 arms. So he's got some measurables, man. He's not fast, but he's accelerates up to his top speed quickly. Ran a 1.5 10-yard split. That's good. The vert was a little above average, but the broad was monstrous, so he's got a little bit of explosiveness as well. All the big boards I could find him on had him in the top 100 somewhere in the third round, and that's where the aggregate has him. I think it's a pretty reasonable thought at this point. He only has 1 year of production because he wasn't playing at Alabama, really, but the 1 year he got to show something, he was pretty good. 34 tackles, 5 for loss, 2 sacks, 3 picks, 7 passes defensed. 80.5 PFF grade. So we're looking at a guy here who is, you don't have a wealth of knowledge on him because he is relatively new to actually playing on the football field. But what we have seen is pretty good. So he's big, we can say that. This is the kind of guy that Pete Carroll would have been all over if he were still here, probably. And Mike McDonald might be all over him too. He might see the same qualities that Pete Carroll would have. He plays with great physicality. He's very disruptive at the point of catch, understands how to really make a play on the ball at the point where it's hitting the receiver's hands, rakes his hands across the receiver's hands to pry the ball out. Very disruptive at that point. He's really good when you allow him to hang back in zone and watch the play develop in front of him. If you put him in those situations where he can diagnose the play with his eyes and try to read what's going on based on route reading, you've got something. So he's nice. He's good. He's effective in that role. And Mike McDonald, we know he's going to mostly play zone. He is a zone guy most of the time, that's one of the reasons why I wonder about Woolen, and that's one of the reasons why I wonder if he wants to maybe bring in one of his own guys, even though, because Carroll was his own guy too, he's mostly inheriting his own guys. I do wonder, a guy like this who is Woolen's size, he doesn't quite have Woolen's testing, but he does bring some of those same qualities in. I wonder if it would make some sense here. He plays the ball well. He's got good ball skills. He's 3 picks last year, basically his first year playing. And I think that he gives effort in tackling and in run support. It's not great, but it's not like some of these guys who make business decisions. There are guys out there who are making business decisions, and he's not one of them. I think he sticks his nose in there and tries. So credit to him there. Now, he is a little bit, they call it leggy sometimes. A lot of people will call it like leggy or high-hipped. Your change of direction is just slow and awkward, so you're probably not going to be able to put him in man. His ability to move fluidly in unplanned ways is just a little bit off. And you only have the 1 year of production on him, really, because he barely played before then. He's very physical, and while that's good, he's probably going to draw penalties in the NFL. He's probably going to get flagged a lot because of the way that he plays. So he probably will have to clean that up a little bit. He probably won't be able to hang with quicker receivers, especially in man. I think they will get the best of him because he doesn't have those great change of direction skills. And he's not overly strong, which is why I wonder if he should add a little bit of muscle so he can tackle a little bit better. Like, he's a willing tackler. He's willing to come up in run support, but he doesn't do a great job at it because he's not that strong. I think he could maybe do something about that. So this is very much a corner that I think Pete Carroll would have been all over. And I think Mike McDonald might like it too. I don't know how much he values these traits, but he could. He certainly could. And I think it would work well. He's going to be good in zone, I believe. I think he's going to be really good in zone. And he's not afraid of tackling. You just have to get him a little bit of muscle, and I think he'll be good at it. If he gets up to 200 pounds, there would be nothing wrong with that at 6'4". So, early third rounder to me. I like him a little bit more than most of the draft big boards. I like him just a little bit more. So if you're into this kind of skill set, I think he's an early third-round pick. I like him quite a bit. Final guy we're going to look at in this third-round range, and last guy in this video, will be Andru Phillips. Andru Phillips of Kentucky. Couldn't find his age. 5'11", 190 pounds, so a little bit small, but not critically so. 31 1/4 arms, 8 3/4 hands. Testing was decent in terms of speed, but phenomenal in terms of explosiveness. His vertical was 97th percentile. His broad was 97th percentile. Some of the best scores you've seen from any cornerback ever. Ever. So this guy is a very explosive athlete, and that's going to be his calling card, I think, going into this draft. Big boards, a little all over the place. You got some third round, fourth round, fifth round. Aggregate puts him right at the back end of the third round, which I could certainly see a scenario like that playing out here. Not big production the last 2 years. He about 80 tackles, 3 for loss, but 10 passes defensed, 0 interceptions. PFF grades have been pretty good, but nothing stellar. So the on-field stuff isn't quite there with Phillips. So you're basing things off a projection. And what we can say about him as a projection is that he's extremely explosive. The athleticism, the ability to have burst is just off the charts here. He's really good coming up in run support. He's a great tackler. So I look at somebody like this and I go, he's going to fit right in with what Mike McDonald wants. He's also got the athleticism to pull off man coverage. He's got the change of direction skills to hang with route runners. So if you want him to play some man coverage, I think he can do it. And he can do press man stuff as well. He shows potential, at least. He has the ability to land a good jam on a receiver and really disrupt the route. And his click and close skills are good. So for those of you counting at home, or not counting at home, that's somebody who is athletic enough for man, somebody who is at least showing potential in press man, and then he's got the click and close to maybe be good in zone. So that's a lot of stuff here. He's disruptive at the point of catch as well. Very hard to make a contested catch on because he's just so physical there. So a lot of things about Andru Phillips are certainly appealing. Now, he doesn't do a great job playing the ball in the air, which is a big reason why he has 0 career interceptions and limited ball production. And the thing that he does that's really tough is face guarding. He does face guarding, which turns into penalties because you're not turning to look at the ball. You're looking at the man who is trying to catch the ball. And you don't want to do that as a corner in the NFL. You got to turn around and play the ball. So that is the big thing he has to fix. That is something that can be fixed. That is something that is coachable. But Andru Phillips, to me, is going to really have to work on that. That might be a non-starter for some people that he can't do that yet. He misses a lot of tackles because his fundamentals are poor. I don't think that he's bad at it, and I don't think this is something that can't be fixed. But he does do a little ankle diving. I do think he's a good tackler, though, and I do think he'll figure this out. So that's the Andru Phillips story here. I like his flexibility. I think he'll be able to do man. I think he'll be able to do zone. I think he'll be able to do press. I think he'll be able to do nickel. I think he'll be able to do outside. So there's certainly flexibility here. I love it. But the ball skills and the general sloppiness with his tackling means there's also a lot to work on here. So kind of a tough one. I ended up putting him in the late third/early fourth, which is basically where the aggregate has him. I think that's about right. There's an interesting mix here. There's a very interesting mix of positives and negatives here that are really hard to pull apart from each other. So late third, early fourth, right around that 100th pick, I think is about right. That's how I feel about Andru Phillips. So I think he more or less has earned his placement on the aggregate. All right, so those are our last 2 projected round 3 guys. They may not be the only guys who go in round 3, though. You never know. Andru Phillips and Khyree Jackson, let me know what you think of these 2. Let me know what you think of these guys. Let me know if you think I'm missing on something here. I'll be seeing you guys in the afternoon. We're going to be kicking into day 3. A lot of day 3 corners in this year's draft. Going to start sorting through it, and we're going to try to figure out what's appealing and what's not. And arguably, the day 3 guys will be more appealing to Seahawks fans because that's just more likely a place you spend a pick. All right. See you guys later. Go Hawks. More videos coming soon.